Yeah, Rohan, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rohan Talwar. I wrote the Punjab University Common Entrance Test last year and I secured a rank 3. So, today I'd be guiding you through how the college is and giving you like information about the exam. So PUCET essentially stands for Punjab University Common Entrance Test. Also, I am here on behalf of National Law Training Institute, which is an initiative by NLS grads. Uh, yeah. So essentially, I'll give you an introduction and a basic overview about the college as to what it pertains and what are all the things that you need to know about if you want to take admission in this particular university. As far as the test is concerned, it is for admission in the 5 year integrated law program. So, Punjab University offers two degrees. One is BA/LLB, and the other one is BCom/LLB. So there are three colleges under University Institute of Legal Studies. The main campus, which is also the best, is in Chandigarh. So, and the other two are in Hoshiarpur and Ludhiana. But if you are aiming for this particular college, then I would like you to focus on the main Chandigarh campus. As far as the campus is concerned, it is there in the university campus itself. So essentially, University Institute of Legal Studies is a department in Punjab University. So it's situated in the university campus. So the campus is pretty beautiful. We have a separate buildings, like a building by ourselves. So as far as the entrance dates are concerned, the test is right now scheduled for 30th April. So roughly, you've got 2 months left. It might get postponed, but I would suggest you to start preparing accordingly and keep 30th April in mind. As far as the college is concerned, it was established in like 10 or 15 years back. So it is still a relatively new college, not as so it doesn't have like a great legacy as far, like other colleges are concerned. But in its initial years, also it's doing pretty well. So if you're not interested towards the corporate culture and if you're aiming for judiciary or like let's say for instance you want to write the UPSC exam after graduating, or if you have like this particular passion for litigation, then this is the college for you, because along with academics it gives you a lot of time to experiment with yourself. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, so if you're aiming for judiciary, UPSC and litigation, this could be an ideal college for you. But if you are adamant that you want to do corporate, then I would say that it's not very what do you say, it's not very, so you wouldn't have a plethora of opportunities if you want to get into corporate through this college. So it's not that good if we compare it, if we talk about corporate culture. People do get PPOs, so the placements are not that great, but people do get pre-placements offers. So there are seniors. So I know. So I'm in first year right now, but I know seniors in fourth and fifth years have got PPOs at Trilegal, Sam, and Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas and Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas. They've got PPOs. So, but that is only possible if you work hard by yourself. The college is not going to do anything for you. So what I'm trying to say is, if your goal is judiciary, UPSC or litigation, then this college is great. But if you're deviating towards corporate, then this not might be the correct choice for you. Yeah. So as long as the seat matrix is concerned, I already mentioned that there are three colleges. In the main campus, there are 180 seats each for BA/LLB as well as BCom/LLB. 50% of them are reserved. So all in all, you get 90 seats for BA/LLB and 90 seats for BCom/LLB. There are various societies in the college as well. So we've got a moot court society, we have got a great ADR and CCL board, and there's this trial advocacy society as well. So great societies. So if I would say that these are the societies that are helping the college to cater to a greater audience and actually helping it to grow a lot. Great societies. So I would say that if you're planning on joining this college, then from the first year itself you should try an experiment by getting into the boards of any of these societies. Okay. So as far as the hostels are concerned, again, since it's a university, a UILS is a department in a university. So Punjab universities has like great hostels. So there is 24 hours access You can leave the hostel anytime, come back anytime. There is no restriction at all. And obviously, but you can only get hostels if you are not a resident of Chandigarh or any or the Tri-City for that matter. So if you are a resident, or if your residence is in the Tri-City, you won't get a hostel. That is, so you'd be considered a day scholar if you live in Chandigarh. That is a point that you should keep in mind. So, so essentially, the paper is on 30th April. As far as the paper pattern is concerned, there are 100 questions, and this is the bifurcation. I've also mentioned the bifurcation as to how, like what section contains how many questions. But one thing to keep in mind, that this is very erratic. Although it is mentioned on the website that this is how the paper would be set, it is never the case with UILS. I mean, I don't know what goes on in the paper setter's mind. They always switch this. So I more or less it is accurate, but there have been instances where English was not asked at all in the exam. So in the past year papers, if you analyze them, so since it is mentioned that there would be 10 questions from English, but there have been instances they haven't asked any question from English at all. So this is a great way to gauge how the exam is going to be, but it is not very stringent. So please don't dwell too much on it. But since it's a pattern that is mentioned on the website, so we are going to discuss it anyways. There are going to be 100 questions. 60 questions will come from general knowledge and current affairs. So essentially 60% of your exam, which is a huge chunk, which is going to decide whether you do well in this paper or not, is going to be general knowledge and current affairs, which is a section where you have to put in a lot of efforts, and like generally students are also scared of this section. So please keep this in mind. 60 questions from general knowledge and current affairs. As far as legal aptitude / knowledge is concerned, 20 questions are from legal aptitude. But this is not the kind of legal aptitude that is asked in, let's say, for instance, a SLAT or probably CLAT and ALIT, because that is, they give you a situation and then they put questions of that particular situation. But this type of legal aptitude is like, what do you call it? Very theoretical. It doesn't focus on the practical aspect. It is very theoretical. So they might ask you a question, what is the meaning of the word totem? Right? So it's a concept of tots. So you would have to take the correct option, that is twisted. They might ask you, what is the meaning of injuria sine damno? So it's like legal maxims, so legal maxims are asked a lot. So basic theoretical one word legal aptitude questions are asked. No situation based, no analysis type of questions are asked. As far as mathematical and logical reasoning is concerned, it is for 10 marks. So essentially questions from puzzles, coding, decoding, or pick the odd one out, direction, sense, test, those kind of questions are asked. I have given a basic overview here, but we'll discuss each section in detail in the coming slides. English, again, 10 questions. Anyone who is a good reader or even has a rudimentary hold over the language could do really well in the English section. It's not an issue at all. So as I've already mentioned, the question distribution is very erratic. This pattern is generally never followed. So this is a thing which you need to keep in mind. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So Punjab University, like if you like consider exams like CLAT, ALIT and SLAT, they don't ask for your 12th board exams marks, right? They just give you seats on the basis of your merit on that particular day when you write the CLAT exam or the ALIT exam. But it's not the same case with UILS. You have to give an entrance test, and then if you even do well in the entrance test, it's not a surety that you would get in, because you'd also need to score really well in your board exams. So the final merit through which the selection is done is prepared by taking 50% of your entrance score, which is out of 100, and 50% of your board's percentage, which is also out of 100. So in my case, so for instance, this example is what I scored. So for instance, if one scores 78 marks in the entrance out of 100, and he or she has scored 90% in board exams, their final merit would turn out to be 78 plus 90 divided by 2, that is 84. So 50% of your entrance score and 50% of your board's percentage. So it's very important if you're preparing for this particular exam that you also score really well in your boards. I'm pretty sure that for like the first time takers, their boards are going on right now. So please make sure that you are doing really well in your board exams as well, because 50% of your weightage is for your board's percentage. So it's very important. So even if you score well in the entrance, you might not get a seat because your board percentage is low. So make sure that you focus on both the aspects like equally. So also there is this thing, if you're going to pursue BCom LLB, you'd get extra marks for having subjects which are commerce related. So if you have accounts, economics, mathematics, or business analytics for that matter, you'd get extra marks and you'd get a preference over the other students for BCom LLB. This is all mentioned on their website, so you could go out and check what extra weightages they have for different subjects. So this is a rule that is going to apply this year as well. So for BCom LLB, there are extra marks. I just let me check the comment section once. Okay, so I think I've made myself clear as to how the final merit list would be calculated. So moving on to the next slide. Now we are going to discuss as how to go about each section in the exam. So this is solely entrance test related. There's nothing to do with the board exams. Okay, so static GK. Obviously, when the general knowledge section, which contains 60 questions, static GK plays a huge role. Okay, so like out of the 60 questions, I would say 40 to 45 of the questions that they're going to ask in this section are static GK related. This could be anything under the sun. They could ask like anything under the sun, but if you analyze their past year papers, I think it becomes very predictable as to what they're going to ask. So important days, firsts, abbreviations, international organizations, anything related to that, they can ask. So if you want to practice questions that they're going to, that can come, you can also check out exams like SLAT, MHCET, because the general knowledge is quite similar to those exams. So current affairs questions are also asked. As I just mentioned, 40 to 45% of the questions will be from static GK, but 10 to 15% of the questions are also going to be from current affairs. So newspaper reading is a must. You should also follow compendiums. They could be from NLTI or any other acclaimed coaching. I used to follow Legal Edge compendiums when I was preparing for this exam. So there are these static GK Legal Edge compendiums. You can find them on their website. Also, I'm pretty sure NLTI has great compendiums as well. So you can cover current affairs from those sections, ideally from 7 to 8 months before the exam date. So start doing it from September, October 2022. So I'm going to give you a gist of all the important topics that you can't afford to miss when it comes to the general knowledge section. Also, I need to stress this a lot because newspaper reading is a lifesaver. That is how I was able to score 78 marks out of 100, because the paper is very random. So it's very difficult to score like high marks in this particular test. So newspaper reading helped me a lot because it prepares you holistically. So even if you don't know the answer outrightly and you haven't learned the answer, you can eliminate options and then come to a conclusion. Also, so I feel newspaper reading is very important. Also, I think I haven't discussed the marks pattern right now. So since there are 100 questions, plus 1 for each correct answer and minus 0.25 for a wrong answer. Same as CLAT. It's the same as CLAT and AILIT. So they follow the same pattern when it's concerned to how they award marks. Okay, so these are the important topics that you can't afford to miss. First of all, important days. Let's say, for instance, there is World Water Day, which is coming on 22nd March. There is International Women's Day, 8th March. World Environment Day, 5th June. So this particular question, World Environment Day, Punjab University has asked this question at least 4 or 5 times. Like it's the same question. I analyzed the past years. 4 or 5 times they've asked literally the same question, a World Environment Day. So important days are a must. Do remember the themes as well. So if there's anyone in the audience who is already preparing for CLAT and AILIT, they'd find this to be very easy because they've already done all of this. So important days, very important. And firsts. So let's say, for instance, the first women to win an Olympic medal, the first man who went on moon, the first person in space, the first president of the Indian National Congress. Where was the first session of the Indian National Congress held? So this first, you can find this first, like national as well as international firsts list anywhere in like any standard book, like Lucent's GK or Aryan's GK for that matter. So firsts are also very important. So this is an important topic as well as general knowledge is concerned. Three, four, or probably five questions could also come from this particular topic. Abbreviations again. So they could ask you the full form of CPU or the full form of Wi-Fi. So these are the kind of abbreviations, just general normal questions. Also, I think the best way to go about the abbreviations part is through elimination. Just use elimination method, because two, like out of the four options, two would be very absurd. You can like tell right out that they're not the correct ones. So the best way to go about in the abbreviations part is use elimination method. They can also ask you questions from international organizations, the six organs of the United Nations. Again, a favorite pet question of the Punjab University Common Entrance Test. They've asked this a lot many times. United Nations, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, International Union for Conservation of Nature, UNICEF, UNESCO. How are they constituted? How many members do they have? Where are their headquarters? Who is the current head? These are the questions that they can ask. So very important. So the ones that I've highlighted in green, I think you should jot down these topics in a notebook or something and start working on them right away, because these are the questions that are definitely going to come, because analyzing the past years, the paper setter is not going to miss these questions for sure. So please make sure that you do these diligently at least. Okay, so moving on, books and authors. Again, 1 to 2 questions are going to come from books and authors for sure. No doubt about that. So, so these are the past year questions that they asked last year or probably last year as well. Who wrote the book We the People? So this great lawyer. So like Nani Palkhiwala, God Save the Supreme Court. Again, Fali S. Nariman. You need to learn these. So again, this list would be available in any general book, any general knowledge book, like standard general knowledge book that you can find. I'd prefer use Lucents and start reading it, like since 2 months are left, start reading it right away. So I'd prefer use Lucents. Moving on, the relatively less important topics are science, physics, chemistry, bio. They ask 1 or 2 questions from these also every year. So they could probably ask you what is the speed of acceleration of gravity, 9.8 meter per second square. So if you're from the science background, you get an edge over these questions, but it is relatively less important. But do make sure that you read the rudimentary science related concepts again from like standard books. No need to go in detail. You don't have to clear like an engineering exam or something. It's like just rudimentary topics. Also, I can't stress this enough, but geography is a must, because I remember when I was preparing, there used to be so many questions from geography in the past year papers, like even sometimes 6 to 8 questions. So like important oceans, important seas, the like exclusive economic zone, nautical miles, and everything that is concerned. Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, prime meridian, anti-meridian, autumnal equinox, spring equinox, any like. So how? So they also ask this question as to what is the what do you call it? So in case of lunar eclipse, what is the relative position of the sun and the earth? They've asked these kind of questions. So if you're not a humanities student and you haven't brushed up upon your geography knowledge since like for a while, please make sure that you do geography very diligently. It is very important. So again, I've already discussed this, but I think I need to stress it again. Please read the newspapers, the Hindu and the Indian Express. Very important. So as far as affairs is concerned, as I already mentioned, 60 questions, out of which 15 or 20 of them are going to be current affairs. Newspaper reading is very important. So how should one cover the past year's current affairs? compendiums, as so do legal age compendiums, NLTI compendiums, CLAT possible compendiums. And you can also refer to websites like GK Today, because they have this MCQ type of they have this daily MCQs, 5 most important MCQs from that particular day. So even if you start doing it from now on, you'd have like 5 MCQs for 30 days. You'll have like 300-400 MCQs already prepared, even if you start doing it right now when 2 months are left. Also, make sure that you cover compendiums from September 2022, because they can ask questions. Because last year the exam was in July, so they can ask questions from September. So make sure you cover the current affairs from September 2022. Um, as far as English is concerned, it is pretty rudimentary. Sometimes it is not even asked. It is that unimportant, because they generally ask these normal things. Even if they are going to ask English, it is this general idioms, and so it's like raining cats and dogs or something, which essentially means it's raining heavily. They ask these general idioms. So anyone who has a good hold over the English language, anyone who is a good reader, who reads regularly, this section for them would be a breeze. Again, when I gave this exam in 2022, only 2 questions came out of 100 for English, whereas they've mentioned on their website that they would ask 10 questions. So, very erratic. You don't have to stress too much on English. Make sure that you cover your general knowledge first, because that is most important. 60 questions are going to come from general knowledge. So, please make sure you do that first. Moving on. So logical reasoning and mathematics. So I remember that it is very easy to score 10 marks in this section, because uh, it's skill based. You don't have to gather knowledge for this particular section. Coding, decoding, puzzles, blood relations, direction test, and odd one out, these are basic logical reasoning topics that anyone could do. So it's very easy to cover these topics, and these are 10 marks for free. So make sure that you do these topics very nicely. So please make sure all the topics that I've mentioned throughout the slides that are highlighted in green, please make sure that you jot them down and do them first, because they're very important. And as far as the logical reasoning and mathematics topics are concerned, there are a lot of topics. We have this question: is it 50% for the 12th result and 50% for the exam, right? Yeah, that is true. So as I've already I'll explain it once again. 50% of your entrance score out of 100 and 50% of your board's percentage, they'll combine this and make a merit list out of 100. Yeah, so that is what they're going to do. Okay, English. I've already covered the English part. Logical reasoning and mathematics. So please make sure that you cover at least these topics very nicely. These are very important. Okay, so now books to refer. So verbal reasoning by R.S. Agarwal. Again, it's a very standard book. Everyone does this. 18 Days Wonder by S. Chand. It's a mathematics book, very important. And you can learn the basic math concepts very easily in a very short span of time. So if you want to score like 10 on 10 on your logical reasoning and mathematics part, please make sure that you do stuff, or like the important topics that I've mentioned here from these 2 books. Again, I've already mentioned this in the video many times. Lucent's general knowledge, very important standard book, especially for PU CET. General knowledge by Arihant publication. This is also a nice book. If you're very ambitious, you can follow both the books. And if you wanna, just like do one book nicely, then I would prefer the Lucent's book over the Arihant general knowledge. Also, there is this book called PUCET Past Year Papers by Shriram Publications. So all the papers over the years, they've been taking entrances for like 10, 12 years now. All the papers have been consolidated by this publisher called Shriram Publications. So you can order this book. It's great. I gave each and every past year paper before I wrote my PU exam. So I used to, I this made sure that I knew what kind of scores I had even before getting into the exam, like getting into the entrance exam hall. So make sure that you do this. I would ask you to do this PUCT past year papers as well. As far as how much merit do you need to get into to get a seat. So last year, when the first merit list came out, uh, I remember the last guy who got in, the 90th seat went to the person who had 72 marks in the merit list. So that means that you need to score 140 out of 100. Like not even 140, I would say, to be on the safe side, score 145 out of 100. So that means that if you're scoring 90% in your board exams, you need to get at least 55 marks in the entrance test out of 100 to get a seat. So please have this figure in mind. The merit score for the last entrant in BA/LLB, which is the 90th seat, was 72. So their merit score was 72. So also make sure that you complete these books, which I've mentioned here. So this was the session. If you have any questions, I'll wait if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. But all in all, I've covered everything that is related to this exam. Please make sure you do the topics that I've highlighted in green. Those are very important. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. I'll wait for a minute or two. Any questions related to the exam, or how to go about the preparation, how much you need to study? Okay, so how much does one need to study? It totally depends on you. Uh, when I used to prepare for the exam, I used to make sure that I'm studying, seriously for like at least 3 to 4 hours apart from the coaching. I used to attend classes for 2 to 3 hours, and then I used to come back home and study for 4 hours at least. In the past, like in the last 15 to 20 days. Also, how much is it enough time? Is 2 months enough time to crack this exam? It's more than enough. It's not as difficult as those national level exams. It is still a state level exam. It's getting you into a good college, so don't get disheartened at all. Just 2 months of diligent preparation, you can definitely crack this exam. No two ways about it. You can do it. So I guess I'll wrap up the session now. Thank you so much for joining me, and all the best for your law entrances. I hope all of you do well, and study hard, and make everyone proud. Okay, thank you.